Hi guys, my name is Hain Shipkowski, and this is my ACTE 651 intro and my perspective on STEM. My name is Hain Shipkowski. You call me Tony. I'm an 8th grade algebra, pre-algebra teacher at Lebanon Middle School in Lebanon, PA. I'm pursuing this master's degree for many reasons, largely to equip myself with more activities and things that I could use to better improve my instruction and in a more effective and meaningful way, not just simple fact recall and work with math. My interests are my family. I have a wife and 2 daughters and a dog. I spend every waking minute with them as much as possible. I love soccer, particularly Liverpool FC, and I've been involved with swimming for about 23 years, both swimming and coaching. How do students learn, especially science? Donovan and Bransford in Chapter 1 really talk about using preconceptions or previously learned ideas, fact or opinion, as the foundation for new concepts. That's your preconceptions. The second thing they talked about was inquiring about the world around us and the content that we present to our students by using their already acquired knowledge, their background knowledge, to help understand facts and ideas in a new, relevant way, and maybe fixing some of those incorrect conceptions that they brought with them. And then the metacognitive approach they talked about is using goals and self-monitoring one's success or shortcomings by evaluating our understandings based off of what we've previously learned. They also need opportunities to apply that knowledge. It's not just simple fact recall anymore. It's applying, testing, and finding conclusions based off of what we just did. The environment means to be learner-centered. We're focusing on the students and what they know and already bring to the table. Knowledge-centered, what they're being taught, how they are learning it, when and why are they learning it, and how do we know. Assessment, again, focusing on opportunities for students and teachers to see where we are. And then community-centered, a place where students are respected and they feel safe to ask a question. What are the barriers of learning? Those 3 principles are the barriers of learning. The preconceptions, like I already talked about, they could be wrong, and we have to spend some time seeing where our students are at, like they did in our readings, and trying to fix those. I give 2 great examples there, one from the book, and the first one's from my personal classroom. Knowing how to do science or math is the second one. If students are just basically recalling facts, they're just recalling facts. They're not applying those and using those in a meaningful way. They're just telling us what we already told them. And the third principle there is metacognition, giving the students opportunities for students to self-assess and see their growth with the new ideas. We need to help students think differently, not about the subject matter, but also about how they know what they know. It's from the book. What does my classroom look like? I'm a math teacher, but I've picked out a couple of these from the book. I ask students to explain a problem, what they're thinking, to assess for any misconceptions. I constantly ask my students to tell me how they do a problem. Reciprocating what I already did, yes, it's reciprocating, but it's the path that they should be taking. It's the thought process that they should be doing. I acknowledge student ideas and thinking, even if they make a mistake. I try to say, you're on the right track, but not quite there yet. Give opportunities to explore the relationship between concepts and the real world. I'm really trying to hit this one home, finding more and more quote-unquote projects to apply what we're learning to real-life, meaningful ways. Learning from my students as much as they learn from me. Again, not every year I teach the same content the same way, so sometimes I have to change things up. So I learn things from them as much as they learn from me. One thing I want to do better is teach my students ways to test their answers and assess themselves more thoughtfully and willingly, which is from pages 494 and 498. I think that's one thing I really need to work on. And lastly is my STEM perspective. Quickly, it's a combination of the coordination across disciplines from page 77, combining 2 or 3 disciplines, and a complementary overlap across disciplines. I think each content area has to have its own discussion, has to have its own class, so we get out the original ideas and information. But then the overlapping areas, like this right here, can become coordination between 2 classes or teachers about what they can talk about together. For example, myself and my science teacher on my team, we talk about scientific notation in combination with what we're covering at the time. But then these areas where the 3 classes or 4 classes cross over together is, in my opinion, it could be bigger classes, especially in high school, where they're like engineering classes or computer drafting classes, where we're using the ideas from 2 or 3 or 4 of these areas so that students can apply this knowledge. I just want to thank you guys. I know it's a little over time, but here are my references, and see you guys soon.